I'm Freema. I'm just deciding which of these toys is my favourite. The monkey or the rabbit? The rabbit or the monkey? Keep watching and I'll see you soon for a bedtime story about another favourite toy. Hello, I'm Freema, and I really want a new toy. So can I borrow your favourite toy? No? Well, can I buy it? Ooh! Emily Brown in tonight's bedtime story won't sell her rabbit to anyone, and I really mean no one. But who would want to buy Stanley? The story's called That Rabbit Belongs to Emily Brown. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Emily Brown and an old grey rabbit called Stanley. One day, Emily Brown and Stanley were just launching themselves into outer space to look for alien life forms when there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the kitchen door. It was the chief footman to the Queen. "The Queen has very kindly noticed your rabbit. She would like to have that bunny-wunny. In return, she offers this brand new golden teddy bear." "No, thank you," said Emily Brown. "This rabbit is not for sale, and his name isn't Bunny-Wunny, it's Stanley." And Emily Brown politely shut the door. An hour or so later, Emily Brown and Stanley were just riding through the Sahara Desert on their motorbike when there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the army. The captain saluted and said, "Her Most Royal Highness Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would like to have that bunny-wunny. In return, she offers her brand new golden teddy bear and 10 talking dolls that say, 'Mama, Mama.'" Emily Brown said, "I don't want 10 talking dolls. I want my rabbit, and his name isn't Bunny-Wunny, it's Stanley." And Emily Brown sent that army away, less politely this time. A few days later, Emily Brown and Stanley were just deep-sea diving off the barrier reef when there was a rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the Navy. The Admiral saluted and said, "Her Most Glorious Royalness Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would like you to hand over that rabbit at your earliest convenience. She points out that she is the poshest person on the planet, and Bunny-Wunny will be much better off with her. In return, she offers you the brand new teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say 'Mama, Mama,' and 50 rocking horses that rock forever." "I don't care who she is," said Emily Brown. "This rabbit belongs to me, and his name isn't Bunny-Wunny, it's Stanley." And she sent that Navy away. A few months later, Emily Brown and Stanley were lying fast asleep in bed, dreaming of all the adventures they would have the next day, when there was absolutely no noise at all at the door, or the gate, or the window. Silently, in crept the Queen's special commandos, and they stole the rabbit that belonged to Emily Brown. When Emily Brown woke up the next morning, for the first time in her life, there was no Stanley. Emily Brown was so cross. She knew just what had happened. She marched straight up to the palace on the hill. She knocked on that naughty Queen's front door. Rat-a-tat-tat. Emily Brown ran into the palace, and there was the naughty Queen, crying like anything. The first thing she said was, "Oh, thank goodness you've come, Emily Brown. There's something wrong with Bunny-Wunny." There was indeed something wrong with Stanley. That silly, naughty Queen had put him in the royal washing machine all night, and he'd come out an odd pink colour. The royal dressmakers had stuffed him full of stuffing, so he wasn't flippy-floppy anymore. And worst of all, they had sewn up his mouth where Emily Brown had picked it away, and Stanley wasn't smiling anymore. Stanley was miserable. "Oh, Emily Brown, is there anything you can do?" asked the silly, naughty Queen. "There certainly is," said Emily Brown. "I shall take Stanley home." That silly queen started crying harder than ever. "I have all the toys in the world, but none as nice as Stanley." Emily Brown felt sorry for that silly queen, so she went to the royal toy cupboard and she took down that brand new golden teddy bear and she placed it on the queen's lap. Emily Brown whispered so that no one else could hear. "You take that horrid brand new teddy bear and you play with him all day. Sleep with him at night, hold him very tight, and be sure to have lots of adventures. And then, maybe, one day, you will wake up with a real toy of your own." And Emily Brown and Stanley went home. That was the last Emily Brown and Stanley heard from the silly, naughty queen for quite some time. But one day, a couple of years later, just as Emily Brown and Stanley were exploring the outermost regions of the Milky Way, there came a rat-a-tat-tat on the kitchen door. It was the postman with a letter for Emily Brown, and it just said, "Thank you." And that story was called "That Rabbit Belongs to Emily Brown." And it's time for me to go off exploring the Milky Way, while it's time for you to go to bed. Night-night, and I'll see you soon for another story. Now, where did I leave my spaceship?